Hello, my friends. This is part 3, the grand finale of wax versus singles. The purpose of this series was to compare what's better, just buying the card you want, a single card, or opening packs and boxes of sealed wax. If you haven't watched the first 2 videos in the series, I put a link in the description below, part 1 and part 2. If you don't have time to watch the first 2 videos or you don't want to, I'm going to do a little recap right now. Freddie Peralta on-card autograph. Little half stack here. Well, let's just get right to the good stuff. Carlos Carrasco, that's numbered to 73. That's one of our big boys out of here. Young Thick. Here we go. Oh, big hit. Big boy. Just as I'm talking about the potential bigger hits out of a hot box, to 373, the refractor. That is a silver. I said it was a refractor. That's a silver. Whoa, that's not bad. Nice auto, too. No, it's going to be Alec Thomas. Autograph. Rookie autograph. No way. This is one of the best boxes ever. Somehow I knew. That's an image variation, Manny Machado. All right, you know the drill. Right away, we got something here, and it is a silver Ramos. Yeah, to 373. I'll show them to you as we find them. No freaking way. Box number 1, we got the Bobby Real one. Let's talk about the pros and cons of both ripping the wax and buying the singles. First, for the wax, what are the pros? Well, the pros are the fun factor. That's the biggest pro. It's really fun to open packs of cards. Why is it fun? Well, it's a combination of the mystery of what you might get and then the actual realization of what you do get. The time spent opening packs is a pastime for people. It's a way to have fun, and the nostalgia that you get, the memories that you get can last your entire lifetime. When I go back through my cards, I remember the ones that I opened out of a pack, and that joy flushes back through my body. The member berries. So that's one of the biggest pros. It's the possibility as well of getting an absolute banger. Now, you may be looking for one card in particular, but most people are opening packs of cards because there's a whole bunch of cards that they would like to get. Now, if you just go buy the single card, that's one card, and there's no possibility of getting any other cards. It's just one card that you want. Another pro would be an actual chance to make money if that's what you're interested in doing, or the chance to make enough money to cover the card that you want. So let's say I open all of this stuff and I actually get the Bobby Witt Jr. Real One auto that I wanted, and then I sell everything else and that covers the price of the card. So that's a pro of opening wax. Now, realistically, on the singles side, the pro to that would be you're likely not going to get the Bobby Witt Jr. Real One autograph out of your case or your box or your pack that you rip. I got lucky, I did, but you're likely gonna save a lot of money just buying the single card that you want. Another pro on the single side is you can actually buy the card in the grade that you want. So you could just buy it raw. If you don't care about the grade, you just want the card, you can buy it raw, save some money there too. Or if you do care about condition, you can buy it in a PSA 10, maybe, if they're available. Or you can buy it in a PSA 9, save a little money. Maybe you want it slabbed up. You don't care what grade it is in a slab, and you just want to buy an 8. You can probably buy an 8 for the same price as a raw one. And this way you know that it's legit, you know that it's real, and you don't have to send it away to get graded. You don't have to go through the hassle. You have an actual card that you know is authentic in your hand. Now for some cons, the biggest con is it's not nearly as much fun just to buy one card. Maybe you go on eBay, you buy the card you want, spend a little bit of time doing it. You get the card in the mail, you open up the package. Well, there's my card. Maybe you put it away in a box, never to be seen again, or to be seen years later, months later, days later. I don't know how often you look at your cards. Another con would be that there's no treasure hunt. That's part of the fun of opening packs. It's like a treasure hunt. You find cards that you don't expect. You can find huge cards, 101s, cut autographs of players that you never would have thought you could get an autograph from. And there's no surprise. There's no mystery. The surprise and the mystery and the memories, that's a big part about opening wax. You don't get that from buying a single card. Maybe you remember where you bought the single card from. Maybe you don't. Then one of the biggest cons would be the depreciation factor. You can buy a card for, let's say, $1,000, And then maybe a week or a month or a year or 10 years later, it's worth much less than you bought it for. And you think back and you think, man, I spent $1,000 on this card. Now it's only worth $100. That's a big time bummer. And especially if you didn't get anything else out of the deal, you can't go back through your old cards that you ripped and find some cards that actually appreciated in value to offset that depreciation. So some cons of opening the wax is the money that you have to spend. You're going to have to spend more money likely to get the card you want opening wax. Most likely, you're going to have to spend a lot more money to get the actual card you want, assuming it's a good one like an autograph or a low numbered parallel. Another con is not getting the card you want. It can kind of make you depressed maybe. Another con might be that it's a waste of time. If you don't get the card you want, you might feel like you just wasted a bunch of time. Another possible con, and this is a big one, is the resentment from your family possibly that you could face. If you open up a lot of cards and you're spending a lot of time and money opening cards and you neglect your family, well, here's the case results right here. 2 cases. I got 22 base Bobby rookies, 21 Julios, 23 Royce Lewis, 24 Spencer Strider, and there's a bunch of other rookies that I didn't bother separating out, but we're just going to look at these for right now. There are a few different ways to do this, how to value a PSA 10. I'm going to compare PSA 10 prices to raw prices. Right now, we got Bobby Witt Jr. The very lowest price I can find is $48.95 plus shipping. We're going to call that $50. Now, that's the buy it now price, but what have they actually sold for? So this is if you're actually going to buy a Bobby Witt and you want to buy it and you're on eBay, you want to buy it right now, the least you can get it for is $50. What does it actually sell for, though? The most recent sale for a Bobby Witt Jr. PSA 10 as of June 24th is $60. And if you sort by best match, the first couple that come up, $95, $60, we're going to call it $50. And if you were just to sell it raw, the most recent sale is $4. Now, raw cards could be anywhere from a PSA 6 to a PSA 10. You don't really know. You're taking a gamble. That's why those cards are cheaper. Now, there's a lot more Julio Rodriguez PSA 10s, but they're about $40. Another supply and demand. Julio's not having as good of a season as Bobby. It was reversed a couple years back, yet last year or even the beginning of this year, these prices were reversed, but it's about a $40 card in a PSA 10. As for sold listings, this price is going to fluctuate a little bit, anywhere from $30 to $50. I'm going to put a $5 value on the raw version. Now we're really getting into the nitty gritty nickel and diamond type. A PSA 10 Royce Lewis, we're going to call that $30. And raw, we'll just say $4. Spencer Strider, currently injured, so his value is not very high. We're going to call that a $30 PSA 10. All these are best offers. I don't even see one sold. I'm not going to go through the next step and try to find what these best offers are, but we'll call that a $30 PSA 10 as well. These Heritage high number cards are in excellent condition. Most of them are mint, at least to the eye. But if you send them away to PSA, they're not all going to be mint. We could say that approximately a third of them would be PSA 10, which is what I'm going to go with. So I'm just going to say 8 of each of these are going to gem, which is about a third. So we're going to say 8 Bobbies times 50 equals $400. Of course, you got to take away your grading fees, which would be about $160. So we're at $240 just the Bobbies. Then the Julios are worth about $10 less. And if there's 8 of them, we're going to say subtract $160 off of that. We're at $80 profit. That's not very good. Is it even worth our time? Well, they have the potential to go up in value. Julio's a dynamic player. So we're going to say $80 for the Julios. And then we're just going to throw a number out there for the Royce Lewises and Striders. We're going to take even more off of that. It might not even be worth it unless you can get $40 a piece for your Royce Lewises and Striders, which you may be able to do, especially if they continue to play well and Strider comes back for injury. We're going to give it a beneficial. Let's just cut that number in half and say 40-40 for Strider and Royce Lewis. So we've got 240 plus 80 plus 40 plus 40. That's $400 roughly in just PSA 10s. And we're just saying, we're only going to get a third of them that gem up. And we've got a bunch of cards left over that we can sell raw and we don't have to pay grading fees for. So we've got about 58 cards left. I'm going to put a $4 value a piece. That's $232. We're going to take our eBay fees off of there. And we've got about let's just say $200 left in raw base cards that we can sell. So we've got 400 plus 200 is $600 if we just wanted to sell our raw base cards, plus maybe get lucky, gem several of them up. We got half our money back from 2 cases. Now let's get to the good stuff. The best of the best. The S tier hits are as follows. Bobby Witt Jr., Real One Auto, Julio Rodriguez, and this is a silver to 373 and Bobby variation. Let's look those up. There are no current sales for this Bobby Witt Jr. Real One auto. There are some in-person signatures here, but there are no current sales. There are no PSA 10s even listed for this Bobby Real One. So we're going to have to drop down and see if there's any other lower grade ones even available. The lowest price PSA grade is at 8.5 and they want $425 for it. Let's see if any sold. The most recent graded one that even sold was in April and it's $300 something. Now here we've got some raw sales. $400 for a raw one. I mean, we can just say this is a $400 card, but I'm going to send it away to PSA and get it slabbed up. Hopefully it gets a 9. I would think in a 9 it's going to be a $500, $600 card, maybe even more. Let's put a $400 value on it. Okay, I'm stepping up my game and I'm using 130 point just so we can be a little more accurate. And the most recent sales for the image variation is $75 in a PSA 8. That's basically a raw card, $55 for a raw one. But if it ends up being a PSA 10, we're talking about a $340 card. Mine looks perfect. I don't know if it's going to be a 10. What's a 9 worth? Let's say $150. I actually found a Julio Rodriguez silver refractor sale PSA 10 for $300. Mine looks perfect. I don't know if it's a gem. It probably is, but I'm going to say $200 in value on that one. So $400 for the Bobby Auto plus $150 for the Bobby Image variation plus $200 for the Julio. We're at $750 already. We've already blown away the cost of our case. We can get that back. So these are like the S tier hits I got out of my 2 cases. We've also got some A tier hits with a Royce Lewis autograph, Vladdy auto. These are real one autos, quite collectible. And then, I don't know, Alec Thomas rookie auto maybe, and then a chrome. I was able to find a recent sale of the Vladdy auto. This is just a raw card, raw price, best offer accepted, $70. So we'll call that a $70 card. And then the Royce Lewis real one, there is a PSA 9. So that's a good comp. PSA 9 for 120, call that 120. And I guess the Alec Thomas isn't worth very much. I mean, here's a sale, a recent sale for best offer accepted for $10. I'm going to call that $10 because I'm going to actually send that off to PSA. I think it'll be worth more than $10 graded PSA. So let's just call it 10. Then we've got a whole bunch of, I don't know, A, B tier cards, autographs, Vita Blue, Jack Flaherty, Peralta. I don't know about this Jake Myers, and then there's a whole bunch of image variations. All of these cards are going to hold a little bit of value. I can probably just quickly get an estimate on this stuff. So we're up to $750 between the S tier cards. Then we're going to add 120 for the Royce, 70 for the Vlad, Alec Thomas, Blue, Jack, and then we got a whole bunch of $5 cards. We're going to call that $60. So we are at 1,042. Let's call it $1,000 on top of the 600. And I've got stacks of additional cards that have value. We're talking about some purple Pujolses, purple Hunter Green, bunch of relics. Frankie Lindor, Mike Trout, Brian De La Cruz, rookie gold, bat relic. Jeremy Pena, we have 2 rookie relics from Pena, a Pujols, ooh, not that one. Yelich relic, Will Smith, Austin Riley, Marte. So a bunch of relics. These are all worth $5 a piece at least. Some of them are going to be worth even more. And then finally, like the D tier hits, you can get a couple of bucks a piece raw for all of these cards. We got chromes, numbered cards, refractors to 673, a whole bunch of those. This Elliot Ramos is actually going to have some value. This is one of the nice parts about going back through and finding cards a couple years later. And then even more rare, the black chrome to 73, silvers. So, a couple bucks a piece on all those. I'm not even going to add that in, but I just wanted to show you there is additional value there too. So we absolutely crushed it on this case. Are the results typical? Probably not, but this is a really good product for a really good price. Now let's look and see what we can actually buy for the $1,200 that I spent on the cases. Now, we're not going to use sold prices here. We're going to use the actual lowest price that we can buy it for because we're looking to buy, and you can't use sold prices. You have to use the lowest price available currently. Now, what I like to do is I like to sort high, low, and I just put 2022 Heritage High on here. You may be able to narrow it down even more, but I just want to see the kind of stuff that we can get around that price. Let's see, we've got a black Bobby 3,800. Some really expensive stuff. This is the actual PSA 1010 Julio 1100. There's 17 watchers, but that's a little too pricey for that. Betty White 101 cut auto. It's kind of cool, but I wouldn't buy that. We're talking about superfractors up here. Raw black 2,500 for that Julio. Real one Bobby 1,500. These are just asking prices. These aren't realistic. That's why I'm going to scroll down quite a bit. But it is good to actually scroll through here, and we need to scroll through here because we're looking at cards that we could actually pull out of boxes too, because that's part of the equation, the potential, wax versus singles. What is the potential that you can get, the high-end potential? We're looking at a Nolan Ryan patch auto, the blacks, the real ones, especially the red ink real ones. Now here's a Julio. This is one of the Julios that I pulled. So this is to 373, the silver PSA 10. They want $700 for that. Here's a real one. This is an 8. They want $700. 8.5, looking at about 600. Now you can get the golds. These are super rare, but that's one of the upside cards to pull. Bobby image variation. We do have that card. Nolan Ryan red ink. That would be a cool high-end card to get. We've got a Ronald Acuna Jr. red ink auto. I actually did pull the normal real one Acuna out of one of my previous cases. It's a Bobby PSA 9 for about $550. So now we're into the affordable range. These are some things that we can consider. That would be a sick hit. Vladdy and Tatis dual to 25. That's nasty. You're about $550 for that Royce Lewis 13 watchers. This is one of the things I look for. How many people are watching it? That way you can kind of tell, is this a legit card? Once you get to a lot of watchers on there, I would say anything over 20 watchers would mean like that's a pretty decent price for that card probably. And it's a potentially one that could get swooped up. O'Neal Cruz PSA 9 red ink. That's a nice hit. Mike Schmidt red ink about 500. Cunha raw 450. Here's a Bobby and an 8.5 for 425. Trout and Shohei dual PSA 9 to 73, $400 card. There's that Vlad red ink. Now that's a normal real one. I think the one we got is like an image variation. Silver raw for 375. Nolan Ryan auto. Byron Buxton 101. Now we're just getting an idea here of the kind of stuff that we could buy if we since we're doing the comparison, and I am going to buy, I actually did buy the cards already, so I'm going to show you here in just a minute what I got. Now that we know kind of the range of cards, what they're going for, now let's get serious. What do we actually want to buy? If we're actually going to spend the money to buy the singles, do we want high-end cards? Do we want a bunch of low-end cards? Do we want something in the middle? Do we want graded? Do we want raw? If I'm going to buy the cards, I want to buy a card, like a high-end card that's going to be really hard to pull. Not your average everyday, even a chrome. I don't even want a chrome. I want to buy an autograph, and I already got the Bobby auto, so now all that's left is Julio. Now, this card is a redemption, so there's not a ton of them around. So a lot of the redemptions are sealed in boxes still, and eventually they're going to expire. So what I'm doing is I'm scrolling down to find the most affordable version of this Julio Real One auto. And the cheapest price that you can buy this card is in the raw form for $575. Now that is right there in line with the costs of a case. There's about $600, $550, $600. And the cheapest price you can get it for is $575 right now. Now, when I originally opened these cases, it was a few months ago. It was before the season started, and Julio's value was actually higher. And that's when I bought the cards. So let me show you what I bought. So this is me personally. What I would do is, like I said, I would buy 2 high-end cards, tough to pull. If I'm just going to spend the money that I would on a case, I'm not going to nickel and dime all these little cards here and there, raw cards, who knows what they could be. So this is what I actually ended up buying. And like I said, this is me. So I'm going to buy the cards that I want, and I want higher-end cards that are going to be tough to pull. The cards that you're looking to hit when you open up a case, okay? For me, that's an autograph. That's a real one auto. We already hit the Bobby. So what did I get? I got a Julio Rodriguez real one. Not one, but 2. In the hopes that one of these would gem up. And these were straight redemptions that I bought because this was the cheapest way. I was able to find these for about $100 less than an actual autograph card. So I was hoping that, boom, right from Topps, they'll probably be in great condition, and maybe I can gem one of them up. I'll show you what I paid for them. So they were $575 a piece for the redemptions, and I bought 2 of them from the same person, and they ended up giving me a little bit of a discount. They refunded me a little bit of the money too. So basically for this, almost the exact same price as the 2 cases, I was able to get 2 Julio Rodriguez real one auto rookie redemptions.